and pretty much just do Q&A sessions. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. I know earlier today AI stocks were green a bit. Hopefully that's maybe it's not. Because we have K Doctor in here saying rough morning for some. We're gonna let me just get everything set up. But first, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's having a good day. I know this is gonna be a long weekend, right? For investing, the market's not gonna be open on Monday, um, which is gonna suck. I really enjoy kind of just seeing green and red throughout my portfolio over the days. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to post. We can get started with some of them. Let me just get things set up really quick. And yeah, it's one of those days where I almost forgot it was time to stream. But I think this is my 4th day now of streaming. I think that's a record. I do think it's a record for me. 4 straight days. Should I do it on Monday? Maybe, I don't know. Should Monday be a streaming day? If we even though the market's closed, maybe we can look at some stuff. Look at earnings coming in. Shri, what's going on, Shri? Hey, Jose, wanted to get mine off market and go for a walk. The weather's too cold in New Jersey. Yes. Last week wasn't too bad, right? Last week wasn't too bad. I think even earlier this week, I think Monday and Tuesday weren't too bad. I'm pretty sure the little one and I went out for a walk earlier this week. It started to get cold Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I hope we get a little bit of warmth back. But yeah, I kind of hate. The winter's nice for like a month or two. When it keeps dragging on, I'm not a huge fan. But let me just pull up some stuff real quick so I can. Let's start sharing some screens, not screens. I mean, we can share some screens, but let's see. X is down too, so I can't even see what's really impacting the market right now. All right, I think. Let me just make sure I don't have anything sensitive and private open. Let's share screen. So is anybody doing anything? Is anybody buying anything with the market right now? All right. So is after TSMC puts great earnings, market decides to go red. I mean, right now, at least, I guess it depends on what market, right, Shri? Semiconductor stocks are still, and AI stocks are still seeing a nice movement. I mean, we have Supermicro is up 7%, and Ambarella is up 7%. Micron somehow still killing it. I'm still shocked by how Micron is still killing it. 6%. We have Navitel is up 8%. We have Astera Labs. And question, guys, is it 1080p this time, or is it still 720? I thought I changed it, but hopefully it's now 1080p that should be streaming. We're going big with these streams. So it seems the semiconductor market continues to do really well after TSMC's earnings. I don't again, I usually don't follow too much outside of the space. In the semiconductor industry, not much is red. Intel is red, right? We have Intel red here. Cadence is red, but nothing crazy. Let's look in kind of some of the software names, and a lot of software is taking a hit, right? You have, I mean, even though it's not a software stock, you have DraftKings down 7%. Light in the optics market, but light, you could argue the optics market has seen quite a run up, right? So a breather isn't the worst thing there. You have Adobe continuing to drop. I'm not sure if there was any news with Adobe, if anybody has any thoughts there. Snap, Duolingo, software companies continue to get hit though, right? So semiconductor plays, not the worst. Software plays are a little bit iffy right now. Ethan the rest day, hey Jose, thanks for being one of the only bullish on core. We've had a ton in the 60s, and I enjoy CoreWeave a lot. I really do. It's people, and it's so funny with the investing world, right? Most it's either A or B. That's how I think most market believes, and I think that's not the case. I think there's could be a lot of winners. I really do enjoy CoreWeave for numerous things. Let's pull up quarter really quickly. Let's look up and maybe let's open up physical AI too. Oh, let's cancel this. First, let's look at what earnings we have. Do we have earnings next week? I think we have big earnings, right? From companies that at least I follow. You have Netflix next week. You have Intel next week, which is going to be great for the semiconductor industry. Um, you have Intuitive Go Surgical. Is that it? Is it not that big of a earnings week next week? I guess for the tech space, it's still not that crazy. Okay, yeah. So I was right. So I mean, next week for earnings, Netflix, I guess, is exciting. I know a lot of people follow it. I think the ones I'm going to be more likely to really keep an eye on is obviously Intel. Hopefully, we get a little bit more updates on their 18A, and we do have Intuitive Surgical. Has this one taken a hit? ISRG. This is a stock I always want to dive a little bit more into. I feel like the robotics market in the healthcare industry and with AI has huge opportunity. But I just I don't know. Something always I feel like I always look at something else first. But is anybody here in Intuitive Surgical? ISRG. Any thoughts on the stock right now? Um, but yeah, CoreWeave has been strong. I really enjoy it. I think it's gonna. I really do believe CoreWeave is easily a $200 billion within the next 5 years. Been buying Rubric. One I don't follow. I really don't follow that one. I'm not too much into the cybersecurity market. Um, AI Money. What's going on, AI Money? Good morning. Continuing to work. Commuting to work. Oh, best of luck. Enjoy your commute. Hopefully it's not too long, and hopefully work is good for you. Sorry, yesterday missed to add details about solid state battery. Donut Lab company is claiming the end of battery tech. Might not be 100% real, but their product bike is to be delivered in quarter 1. What stock was this? Harris's Donut Lab company? Definitely not something. Um, how do you feel about Fluence Energy? I don't know much about Fluence Energy. Let's see if we can maybe pull up something about this one. Um, Fluence Energy. Just curious to see the transcripts, slides. All right, so I guess they oh, it's a Siemens and AES company. All right, so is this a spinoff from there? Um, Record year revenue backlog, gross margins improvements, pipeline supporting continue. Americas is 45% utility. I mean, accelerating demand for battery storage beyond fleet transformation. What is the market cap of this one? Let's, I'm pretty sure we can see here. I mean, it's obviously this market is interesting for sure right now with the growth in data centers and AI. Um, so I guess my first question would be like, why fiscal year 2024 revenue took a bigger hit versus 2026? Right, that would be something that I would ask, but it tells you that um, revenue is $300 million below plan, primarily due to production delays in the United States. Corrective measures implemented in production is on track to achieve target volume for fiscal year 2025. Deliver. So that would be the first thing, right? I mean, I don't follow it. I guess on the top level overview, right? It's that story with the and what is the ticker? FLNC. It's just that story of AI data centers. I mean, it's running up like crazy, right? $5 billion. Uh, in the past year, it's done 75%. Year to date is doing 18. So with this power constraint story, right, I think you have kind of a bullish trend in these companies right now. Now, I think the question is understanding how are they different from other players in the long term. Eventually, that's going to come, right? That's the questions that you need to know in the long term of things. But I think right now the thematic investment is following almost all these players. Wi-Fi. I remember you brought it up a few months ago. Looks like mid late 2026 could be their time. I think, I mean, this is one of the few that I own that is outside of Nebius and CoreWeave. Not a big position. I think it's only like, I think right now it's like 15 to 20,000 on Wi-Fi. Um, and I mean, it's for me, it's more of like percentage wise, it's single digits. It's nothing that would move the stock. But they did one thing that gets me excited about WhiteFiber. It's just that thematic approach, right? Again, it's just the overall thematic right now with AI data centers. They are, I think not many people follow it. That also gets me excited because once they mention some crazy partnership, I do think more people would view it. And they do, let's see if they I don't have it here. Well, white fiber investor. So this is something that will always be a small position. I would never make this anywhere near a big position just because it's extremely volatile. But one thing, especially recently, I don't know if you guys saw, OpenAI made a partnership with Cerebras, about $10 billion of compute. And one of the few companies that's actually building data centers for Cerebras is WhiteFiber. Right now, they have, I think like 5 megawatts, nothing crazy. 5 megawatts for a Cerebras system, 100% contracted. And then they have about a 99 gross megawatt system coming up within the next few years, with the IT load starting off at 20 megawatts, and then it kind of goes on from there. Phase one capacity is about 20 megawatts. I think you have like, but I think it's about 70%, 70 or so. So you have about 70 megawatts here, and OpenAI and Cerebras had a 750 megawatts. So I think there's opportunity for white fiber. Again, not one that I would be like loading the truck on, but if for kind of those small plays that could end up doing really good, that's one I'm excited about. Johnny, good morning. Good morning, Johnny. How is it? Let's look at, let me just put NVIDIA here. It's crazy how cheap I still think NVIDIA is. It's crazy to think the biggest company in the world is still cheap in forms of forward PE ratio. So NVIDIA is up about 0.5% today. Um, Oh, got it, got it. So you were just saying that there was so Donut Lab is a private company not listed, but if true, it will change entire energy and hence entire market. Interesting. And would love to. I don't follow the battery market too much, but I would say if things were gonna change the entire market, you would get a little bit more signs, I think, right? You would have maybe someone trying to acquire the company just for their tech, just for that breakthrough, right? So, and sometimes the changes in the market take a lot of time just because of the manufacturing capabilities, the infrastructure capabilities. Um, so again, I don't follow it, but just usually what I see within tech innovation. Simon, what's going on, Simon? Hola, chicos. What price would be a good entry for Amkor? You know, Amkor is um, not one that I follow too much. Um, let's look at Amkor's. Let's look Amkor. I'm curious to see what PE ratios. What does this company's financials look like? What is the actual story here for Amkor? So if we look at the last 12 months, is this the same Amcor people have been talking about? I don't see much revenue growth, right? That would be the first thing. So I guess the market is expecting more over time, unless maybe it depends on their segments. And I guess this is where it's going to be at. It's going to be, I mean, you're seeing some growth here. Um, with advanced product revenue. I'm going to guess that's where the advanced packaging is. But to be honest, for all the talks that I've been hearing about Amkor, I thought it was already in that growth phase, but it seems like people are preparing for that growth phase. Um, we'll look at some other stuff, but I'm just curious right now of forward valuation. Again, forward valuation will tell us a little bit about kind of how much growth. All right, so I mean, it's definitely trading above its median, which I'm usually not a fan of. I want to see one more thing. Let's look at estimates. So 2025, you expected to see revenue of, I don't know, actually, we can even go back here, financials. Let's look at revenues. I want to see, let's look at annual basis. And let's see what is expected. So for 2025, for the end of this year, you're expecting some growth versus 2024, pretty much flat to 2023. In 2026, so you're expecting a nice amount. Would you consider that a nice amount of growth? Total revenue change. So about a 10% growth in 2026. And then 2027, another 10% growth. What curious to hear, are people expecting these growth rates to be much higher than the 10% that analysts are estimating? And if so, how much higher? Because again, to be honest, from all the talks that I've been hearing about Amkor, I would have expected this to be at least growing strongly in revenue. Um, Hi, Jose. Do we have any news on Supermicro today? I'm gonna leave Amkor up. I don't. I haven't seen SMCI stock. Um, let's X Perplexity. I think Perplexity is the easiest for AI solutions. So today is Jan. What's today's date? 16, 2026. SMCI is up about 7%. What is happening? There. And then let's just put research mode on. Wait, what's going on here? Did they change stuff here? I can't do research mode anymore? Did they make some changes? For enable. Oh, okay, whatever. I feel like they made some changes, but we'll come back to that in a bit. But it doesn't seem like I see anything. Supermicro, no news right now. It could just be it could also just be a completely rubber band effect of the negativity the stock was hit the past few days with Supermicro. Hey, Jose, ever taken a look at MCRY? No, I am not familiar with MCRY. Let's see if we can. Anybody bullish here on Amkor? I would love to see what's there. I know Mercury Systems. I feel like I've heard of them. Mercury Systems is a aerospace defense industry. It's design, develop, manufacturer. Open. Is this kind of the? I know how I heard about this. This is the competitor. It's like a somewhat competitor to OSS, right? Let's look at their website. I'm actually curious to look at their website. Um, let's look. Come on. Why am I not seeing anything? I'll search Google. Here we go. Mercury Systems. Compute, rack source, small form factors, market edge. So it does seem like a competitor here to OSS. So I guess that thesis is still there. I wonder, are they doing H100 systems? Let's look at some other products. I'm actually curious. So let's look at compute. Let's look at rugged edge servers. Box that checks off. Can we get boom, 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 boom. I want to get a spec sheet really quick. Can you give me a spec sheet? What's one of your best products? Uh, let's look for rugged services and subsystems. All right, they have this one. Come on, can we get a spec sheet? A freaking spec sheet. I'm just trying to see what kind of if some of these are GPU. But I mean, that's I guess if you're looking for like a similar OSS style thing, this was a lot bigger, right? OSS is like in the $200 million market cap. I think this is in the $1 billion opportunity. But I know when I was researching OSS, this one came up as a competitor. The data sheet. Did you see a data sheet? I didn't see one. Specifications. Oh, right here, data sheet. But I mean, again, they don't. Let me just do this. Mercury systems, AI, H100. What are they doing? Do they have an H100? The PC, yeah, the 5.0, they have the H100. Okay, so they do. They talk about it here. Let's just see H2. I'm just curious to see what they have here. Mercury systems. Let's see, NVIDIA partnership. Mercury has a long-standing partnership, collaborating. Mercury is an NVIDIA preferred partner, giving it early access to new technologies and allowing it. So they are there. See any events and webinars? I mean, this is definitely an interesting market, especially especially if you think AI is gonna, which I personally do, is gonna completely change the defense market. Companies like OSS, company like Mercury could have that tailwind opportunity. Now the question is, when will those revenues actually start to show? Let's look at Mercury really quickly. I actually like this one a lot. To read more, because it's both exciting to research. But as of right now, you don't see much growth expectations until it seems like 2027 is when some excitement is coming here. Yeah, noobs. Yeah, some of the ones I'm looking at right now seem more fundamentally sound than OSS. Yeah, I think that's true, right? I mean, OSS is definitely a lot smaller company. So I think if you're looking for that same thematic, but with like a company more mature, it would be something like this. But then the question is also, when you have something a little bit more mature, if the kind of AI infrastructure, AI rugged service starts to grow, is it really gonna impact? Is it really gonna impact the top and bottom line number, or is it just such a small number that it becomes it becomes nearly obsolete for at least a few quarters or a year? Not in Amkor, but the hype is due to the new facility they're building next to TSM in Arizona, an onshore manufacturing hype from Jensen Trump TSM. New plant not till 2028 though. That's crazy. I do think right now the semiconductor equipment market has seen a lot of excitement that I'm personally not excited about. I think everybody is trying to, like ASML, Lam Research. All these were nice buys. A year ago, but I think the excitement, or even 6 months ago, but I think the excitement is getting. It takes. I think many people are just don't understand how long it takes to build these facilities. And then when those facilities are running, then to just go from from starting manufacturing to 100% utilization rate. Um, but yeah, what's going on, Big Buck? Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, Mr. Silva, Mr. David Silva. Name I don't like. They don't want NVIDIA to go through 187. They should. I mean, NVIDIA should go to the 190s. Oh, it did go to the 190s earlier today. Do you have any price for NVIDIA for which you will diversify out? I don't think so. I don't really. With NVIDIA, it would be very rare. I think it would be more valuation concerns. I think price would change nothing. It would be valuation concerns. Let's say forward PE ratio jumps to like 50. Maybe I might not diversify out, but trim a nice amount if we get some massive forward PE expansions to levels we've never seen. Or if the competition I really feel starts to get a lot closer. I don't think we're there. Um, but those are two. Costco's still at a forward PE ratio, and Walmart. This is the safe haven assets bubble. It's crazy, right? That those stocks are with that forward PE ratio. I mean, let me just look at it, right? You have um, I just think it's wild if it's true. Let's look forward PE ratio. Let's look at Costco. Let's look at Walmart. And then let's look at NVIDIA. I think this is wild, right? This is extremely, extremely wild. Historically, it seems like NVIDIA tends to be more expensive than these, right? I would say yes, right? A lot more expensive than Walmart. Almost, if we look at this chart, um, I think 99% of the time, NVIDIA has been more expensive than Walmart. Walmart is orange, right? Now it's the opposite. That should say something. I mean, eh, that should definitely say something. That is wild. What's the David Silva fan? I don't know. I don't think anyone should be the David Silva fan. Um, Eddie, no, I try to see what happened. Let's see if AI knows. Mm, it seems like there's nothing. It's just because I know earlier this week we saw Goldman Sachs initiate a sell with a price target of 26. Um, it could just be a stock that was massively shorted, and yesterday TSMC's earnings created a nice momentum for the overall AI infrastructure market. I think that would be the only thing I can see creating a nice momentum here for Supermicro right now. Uh, you own Planet Labs. Where is it going? Is it going? And I was gonna make a little moon joke, but I don't know. No, I don't own Planet Labs. Let's look Planet Labs stock. Is this actually okay? So this is another killing it year to date. Imagine someone started investing at the beginning of the year and you're already outperforming me and most people in the market. That is wild. You wake up, you wake up January 2nd and you're like, you know what? I believe in space. I'm gonna put all my money in the market in just it's well for a few trading days, about 10 trading days, and you've 50x. I'm not 50% growth already. That's wild. Um, what are your thoughts on? Oh, this is actually interesting. Oh, I missed this one. What are your thoughts on AMD and Riot partnership? I want to do a little bit more research, so I kind of was stalking Amit in his stream earlier this morning, and I saw this. So Riot stock soars 10% after AMD signs a 311 million data center deal. Do we have any actual press release with this? AMD Riot. Did AMD mention anything? Let's look at AMD investors relations. I'm curious to see if they talk about it. What's today's date? Today's the 16th. All right, so they didn't talk about it. But Riot stock, one of those. The first thing it tells me, right, is Bitcoin miners, PowerShell companies can really transform into these hyperscale players, at least for PowerShells, at least being a PowerShell type play. So it's up 11%. Riot today announced the simple acquisition of land and first data center lease with AMD at Rockdale site. So first thing, if I was a Riot shareholder, I would say this is a confirmation that Riot knows at least what to do when it comes to at least PowerShell, collecting land and collecting power. The data center development hyperscale leasing opportunity unlocked via simple acquisition. Data center business established via execution of lease with AMD at Rockdale, with expected delivery beginning in January 2026, completing May. Data center portfolio. So let's see. Hold on. The fee simple acquisition for total consideration 96 million, funded entirely by the sale of approximately some Bitcoin. The signing of the data center lease with AMD, a leading innovator in high performance computing, which includes an initial deployment of 25 megawatts of critical IT load capacity to be delivered in phases beginning in January 2026 and completing in May of 2026. Right. So the first 25 megawatts. And this is why I kind of many people think that you need these massive amounts of huge power in one space to get a deal. But no, you with just a few megawatts, you're still able to get some great contracts. I mean, 25 megawatts compared to like the gigawatts people talk about, the 200 megawatts people talk about, it shows that you can get there with the potential of up to 200 megawatts. Now, I am curious to see what AMD wants to do with this. Let's see if AMD talks. So our data center team, led by Chief Data Center, worked quickly to develop a unique tailor offering that met AMD's immediate needs and offer a path for future collaboration. What are they trying to do here? I'm curious to see why AMD needs the data center. The only thing, and especially to me, completing by May 2026. Dude, make I would say the only thing that I can see AMD doing for this is they're coming out with the Helios rack, right? They're coming out with the MI450 Helios rack. They need some form of data center place where they can test out and scale out a big amount of servers. So then for their customers, they can showcase and be like, look, this is how you set up these racks a lot quicker, a lot faster. These are the ins and outs. These are some of the issues you might get. So I think that's why AMD is at least initially starting for this, is to kind of at least create a blueprint for their MI450 rack. Again, for Riot partner investors, it kind of gives you a little bit of excitement there. If they're doing well, they can expand to even multiple 200 megawatts. But I think AMD wants to use this because they're not. I don't think they're entering the cloud business, right? It would be very weird for them to enter the cloud business. I think it's going to be more of a R&D development of building massive infrastructure and showing it to their customers, showing how reliability works, how to stand up the system, how to plug in everything. Understanding just that infrastructure is insane. Or the other thing is, NVIDIA does it. They actually have a lot of AI compute that they use for research and development. For example, if they're working on all these open source models and all these software solutions for CUDA, they use these kind of supercomputers and data center servers to kind of help develop that. So that maybe they might be expanding more into a little bit more AI investments. I know they talked about their Is CoreWeave about 100, above 100? That's awesome. Let's look at that. I am. I want that. I want, but for AMD, ooh, ooh, ooh. I was gonna eat Chinese food today. I think I might be. I might tell my friend we should do something else instead. Um, but CoreWeave about 100. That's nice. Bear case for Nebius. Bear case for Nebius. I don't know. I think for Nebius in specific, I don't think there is one. I think it would be more just the thematic. Um, greatest vids. It is the thematic. If there really is an overinvestment in AI compute, that's the easiest bear thesis. There's an overinvestment, but actual bearish thesis on Nebius, it would be more of just delays that they can't handle. It would be like, let's say, just like CoreWeave, if they get some massive data center delay, if some unnatural thing breaks some of the data centers that they have for some events that I think it would be something crazy like that, like if a meteor hit the data center. So for Nebius, it's more of operational risk as an individual player. If for some reason maybe your systems get hacked or you didn't handle security the right way. So anything operational there. But I think the biggest bearish case is more of a thematic if it's just the over AI investment. Simon wants us to check iron as well. What? Let's go. Let's go. The other thing could be that RJ Brown. The only thing that makes sense is NeoCloud for AMD. That maybe AMD is renting this out for a future NeoCloud player. Is what you're trying to say? With that Riot partnership, that could be the case. But then why wouldn't that NeoCloud do it instead? Right. Trump can tweet anytime too. But I think, Chris, that's more of just overall stocks, right? I don't think that's just a bearish case for Nebius. This could be about anybody. Thank you for the lives. Do you do these often? I try to. I try to do them. I'm doing them at least. I've done 4 in a row. I think I should get a medal for that. I don't know if I should do it on Monday. Because the market is closed, but let me know if you guys want me to do it on Monday. That would be awesome. Midwest, what's going on, Midwest? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Love, appreciate it. 28. We're going back in time. A lot of this can be attributed to holdings on Rocket Lab ASTs and the beginning to budge. What are you talking about here, Pedro? A lot of this can be attributed to holdings on Rocket Lab. I mean, if you hold these companies, these have done really well lately, right? Is Nebius up today? I'm actually pretty excited. Someone told me about CoreWeave. Iron too. Obviously, Simon, congrats. I have a bit of a spread on Iron, nothing too crazy. But let's see. What else do we have? So is WhiteFiber up? It's because we were starting to talk about it here on the live stream. Nebius is what I wanted to look at. Look at that. Best stream of the day. Keep going, bro. I just answer questions. I mean, if you guys enjoy me just answering questions, I enjoy it too, because it's a lot less prep and I just get to share my overall thoughts. How come CoreWeave jumped? I don't think there's any real reason right now, Peter. I think it's just been a more thematic thing. I think December, I'm gonna say Thursday. December and November was pretty scary for semiconductor, for AI stocks, especially AI infrastructure companies. I think the market is changing their sentiment a little bit to a little more bullish on them. Especially, I mean, you have TSMC that just reported earnings and showcased that the AI market is still extremely healthy. I think you've had CoreWeave and other CEOs continue to talk about the demand for AI computes. And I mean, you have deals like today with AMD and Riot, right? Even though it's not a big deal, 200 megawatts potentially in the long term, but 25 megawatts in the short term, it showcases that companies are still willing to do AI infrastructure deals. And there's still so much money, right? AMD hasn't really done anything like this before. Um, will NVIDIA announce a big partnership like this? It opens up questions. I don't think they will, but it just opens up questions of is Intel or is Broadcom, right? Would Broadcom want to build their own data center to showcase certain products, certain infrastructure solutions? Um, so yeah, and I keep forgetting. You guys got to remind me. I know you guys hate ads, but if you want to join a community for the AI and semiconductor market, check out whatthechiphappened.com. If you use code 2026, you get 33% off. I do have a What the Chip portfolio in there. We just shared some updates. But the main thing of this overall community is a lot of deep dives. You learn crazy stuff about the AI market. Um, I'm here for analysis content and not simple market monitor, like most others who seem to put more energy. Hopefully, I'm providing the first and not the latter. It's pretty hard to do analysis on just random questions, the real. But hopefully it's your entire port is up 5% today. Crazy month so far. Feels a bit brothy, but it's because the AI data center plays did not agree. Um, I think they deserve maybe a bit of a pullback, and I don't mind a bit of a pullback, right, Simon? But I think how much they got pulled back, it was intense. Obviously, Simon's part of the community. He saw me buying a lot of these AI stocks in December, in November. I know Simon was also sharing he was buying, obviously, I believe Iron and a lot of other ones. So the community, that's what it is. It kind of talks a little bit about it. What's going on? I don't see ads. IG. I'll be working in the office on Monday. We'll be happy to have your live show on in the background. I'm already a member. What's going on, Pedro? Appreciate it, Pedro. If you're a member of the group, yesterday I posted the new buys for the portfolio, so make sure to check that out if you haven't. Vertiv, and I also did TSMC's earnings deep dive yesterday. So TSMC's earnings deep dive was out yesterday. I was up to like 1 o'clock in the morning working on both those things. Vertiv can work with all these data centers while the data centers are competing against each other. I feel like I haven't heard of this one in a while. Vertiv. I mean, I feel like maybe we have, but Vertiv, obviously, I mean, I think the AI story is back for at least for now. We saw that crazy sell-off happening in December. I mean, even Vertiv took a hit. And for those that are not familiar with Vertiv, let's just do a quick showcase of their products. Do I have quarter open up? I think quarter is a little bit easier right now. That's not it. That's not the Vertiv I want, is it? Hey, there's two Vertivs. Okay, this is the Vertiv I want. Let's look for presentations. I mean, they focus a lot on all the types of infrastructure for these data centers. I thought they used to have a better slide. Oh, they have a collaboration with Oklo, collaborating to advance power and cooling solutions for data centers. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, that's not the solution I wanted. Do they have another slide? Come on. They had status update? No. They had a really nice slide where they showcase all their stuff. This one's nice. Vertiv end-to-end system and service expertise are well positioned to solve the industry's increasingly complex power management and cooling challenges. Facilities outdoor, they work with power conversion and distributions, the room row, power switching and distributions, power distribution within the rack servers. Then they also obviously work with that cooling and everything within the server chips, and then everything else as well, the whole thermal chain. And this is important because, I mean, NVIDIA and all these big players, they continue to change the density of their racks. Right. It's changing completely. And NVIDIA does have a great partnership with Vertiv. So they're always ahead of this curve of understanding what's next. And I do think they're going to be one of the main players here because of that. And for that reason, I think companies like AMD and others are also going to work really well with Vertiv, with how they're going to continue to design a lot of these unique chips and AI infrastructure solutions. So Vertiv, a name I don't own, but I can see the appeal for it. I don't like, so Chris, I don't like that Bitcoin miners are swapping to data centers. Make me wonder how confident they are about their business. Seems like FOMO to me, and it weakened crypto. I agree, right? It's like, how can you shift a company that quickly? That's why I think for me, in forms of AI hyperscalers, like AI hyperscalers, I prefer CoreWeave and Nebius. I think Iron is definitely getting really good at it. I mean, they've got those massive contracts, so they have something to show. But the other Bitcoin miners are more kind of just being PowerShell companies, and I think that's the safe right? Being the PowerShell player. But I agree. I think when you're switching business models, operational risk becomes a thing, right? How are you going to handle this? How do you know all the issues? Do you know how to set up everything? The operational risk becomes heavier. I worked with Vertiv when I worked for Boeing in their data center, and that is all they used. Oh, appreciate to know that, Johnny. I'm up 2K on Super Micro position from 2 days ago. Blind buy mode. Nice. That's really nice. Get a nice dinner today. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, Jose. Any thoughts on Synaptics? Synaptics? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one. Synaptics. So what did they mention? All right. So they're shifting its focus to edge AI, shifting its focus to an edge AI and IoT play. I mean, edge AI. The question is, what are they doing, Suki-ku? Thanks for sharing your knowledge, Jose. Any thoughts on shifting? I think edge AI and IoT play is definitely gonna hit the markets pretty soon. As AI continues to innovate, you're gonna see a lot of more Internet of Things adopt AI. Now the question, Suki, is I'm not familiar. Is what type of edge AI products do they work with, or what type of IoT products do they work for? Maybe we can actually research that really quickly. Where was I? Synopsis. Is American Neuro. It's in the medical field? This one? Introducing Astra. Product line transformer capable AI industry efficiency. Oh, okay. So they are a chip company instead. So they're a chip company and they produce, let's look at their products. Okay, so they're a chip company. They provide chips for various reasonings, wireless connectivity, compute processing, display interface, touch biometric. All right. I would say first, this is a competitive market for sure. You need to have some form of secret touch, because the first competitor I would think of would be Qualcomm. Then you have the other one, the Asian-based company. I forget. I'm butchering the name right now. It's damn, what's that name? Oh my God, is Qualcomm? I mean, Qualcomm would be the first player to think about it. There's a lot of other players, Ambarella, in the IoT market. So the first thing is, do they have a secret sauce? What is their secret sauce? They report quarters. This would actually be investors' presentation. Let's just look at their presentation. Okay, I mean, I guess one thing that you could say is exciting about them is they are less than $4 billion in market cap. So you have the opportunity that if the AI market is so big, can you just ride the wave and the smaller player ride it even better? Quarter one revenue was up 4% year over year. They recently got a new CEO. Is this a new company? Another thing I would notice is a lot of these management teams are extremely young, right? The CEO joined in 2025, CFO joined in 2024, uh, SVP joined in 2023, global operations joined in 2025. Why was it there a churn there? Or what was there a turnaround in management? And how is this new management gonna handle it? Is it because of what you mentioned there, that they're transforming into IoT edge and it's just the whole market? So it seems like edge AI processors is what they're excited about. Again, there's a lot of competition in this space. You have companies like Ambarella, I think about $60 billion market cap. You have companies like Qualcomm. MediaTek is the company I was thinking about. Um, just like, I mean, Synopsys torque with Google Coral and PU. What is Google Coral? I'm not familiar with this. So that would be my first thing, right? It's what would be my bullish thesis on this company? Is it just the overall market growing? I will say, and I say a lot of things, the consumer market is, in my opinion, going to be a little bit choppy this year just because of memory prices. So because memory prices are going to be extremely high, if you're using leading edge memory, you're going to have an issue. Obviously, some of these IoTs might not use leading edge memory, so might not necessarily be too much of an issue. But I would say put that in a potential headwind, how memory prices could impact the demand for or the prices or the margins of a lot of wearables, or of a lot of IoTs, of a lot of laptops and PCs. So those would be my raw thoughts in a few minutes. Um, let's see. Did I miss any questions? I probably missed a lot. That sounds a little bit like pump and dump. I'm not big into that. I'm starting to buy WhiteFiber. Be careful with this one, right? It's definitely for me. I consider it a YOLO play. Um, Hi Jose, Ronnie, what's going on, Ronnie? Hi Jose and SaaS. What's your favorite name right now? Something which is least likely or minimal chance to get replaced by agentic AI. Mine is Workiva. I don't follow. So the SaaS market, I mean, is one I not too follow. I don't follow too much. It's one I would love to. The first one and the easiest one I can think of is Adobe. I really don't think AI is gonna eat Adobe. I really don't. I think the sentiment's gonna continue, but eventually, I see this. I see this in the world where eventually AI is going to be able to control my app extremely well. And the one who will be able to do that would be Adobe, who knows how to control everything. So personally, if I was to license Adobe and then for an extra $5 a month or $10 a month or $15 a month, I can have form of like an AI agent that takes full control of Adobe, and I can be like, hey, just create this type of thumbnail for me, just create this type of image for me. I want to create this, I want to fix this, and I just like the AI agent, since it knows everything about Adobe, can do it because you'll be able to control fully the app. I think that uh, I think Adobe continues to be strong. I don't think AI is gonna eat its lunch. But when would I start investing into it? I don't know. That would be a whole different answer. Um, oh wow, I'm seeing some over here. Sometimes I don't get the sh- the super chats. But we got a super chat from David. Let me see if I can pull it up. David. I'm trying to find it. Super chat, super chat. I just want to say thank you. That's all I want to say. I want to say thank you, and I want to make sure I find the super chat so you feel that I appreciate you. I really do. Um, Yo, it's not showing. I am so sorry. So first, shout out to David. For David Knight. Do you stream with Couch still? Also, do you own Iron? So I don't stream with Couch anymore. Me and him got into a big fight. We have beef right now. Just kidding. We don't. I just 9 o'clock. The time he streams doesn't work for me. Um, and I sometimes I'm only on for like 40, 50 minutes, and I don't want to make it a him where I just show up for 40 minutes and then bail. But I will be on his show pretty often. But there's no bad blood with this. And then we have Blind Bimo with another super chat here. Love these live shows. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat. I wish I could see him here. Um, I wish I can show him, but appreciate the super chat so much. Let's see. I have about 4 minutes. Good morning. What's going on, Blake? What are your current convictions in order? I would say, Sub, if you were to look at my overall portfolio, it would mainly be Nvidia, followed by CoreWeave. I would say those two are, I don't know, those two are big, are 40 to 50%, I would say, of my port. Add AMD in there, definitely those three are 50% of my portfolio. So it's current holdings, order of conviction, those three are my top three biggest. Um, then a nice amount of Mag 7s. That would be the Mag 7s. Google is a big position. I'm starting to create a big position on Amazon and Meta. What else? Am I missing anything? Marvell is also up there. I would say those would be like my top 7. If I mentioned 7 names. But those would be at least 80% of my portfolio. I'm boring. I'm very boring, Subhash. I like chips. I like Mag 7s. I think AI, I'm a simple man. I think AI is going to change the world. So I invest in chips, I invest in AI infrastructure, and I invest in cloud server providers. And those three can easily be found with AMD, NVIDIA, CoreWeave, Amazon, Google, and the Mag 7. Tell Couch to move to where you are and then problem solve. Just come to New Jersey. I don't know. Hi, Jose. Any interest in a stock like Nova Nordisk? Not for me, right? It's if I was to enter in the healthcare space, it would have to be through something that I can integrate with technology, robotics, or AI very heavily, right? Like for me, if I'm really entering into the healthcare market, it would be more via, I think the closest would start to be with something like intuitive surgical, because it's like, I guess the perfect mix of tech and health. But just to go completely left field, it's very hard. Couch will never move to Florida. Well, I'm in Jersey, but he could move. If he moves to Florida, I'll move to Florida. Uh, Tempest, right? Probably, right? It's more like AI models and stuff like that in an AI application, and how to use AI to innovate the medicine world. Uh, Probably, I would focus a little bit there more. Are you worried about Corey's negative earnings? No, I think right now, obviously, you have a little bit of data sensors, even though they have a lot of data sensors, but the amount of data sensors that they're going to have eventually is going to be able to push that revenue and those earnings up. And I think the business model is going to work, at least for the foreseeable future. All right, guys, I have 1 more minute before I got to go take the little one from the nanny. The nanny needs to go enjoy her weekend as well. You got sick of Couch talking about Oscar and PayPal. It couldn't be an episode without Oscar or PayPal. What's your go-to place for analysis and key points to consider? Like for investments, for me, it's myself, Akash. It's reading earnings transcripts, reading conference guy. The analysis I do, but the raw data, if I'm curious about the raw data for anything, is earnings calls, conferences, and CEO interviews. Um, CEO interviews. Those are where I get my raw points. In a little bit of analysis, I do read semi-analysis from time to time. And then X, right? A lot of people share good things on X, but it's always great to verify everything on X, from even Uber bulls and Uber bears. But I like doing a lot of the raw reading myself. Hey, Ronnie, I'm just saying, I'm not working. I don't consider what I do work anymore, right? I quit my engineering job 4 years ago. 4 years now, 5 years, 2021. 2021 is when I quit my engineering job. If I need to go back, I would. But if I had $5 million when I quit in 2020, I, I didn't have 5 million then. I'm not saying if I have it now, I definitely don't. But for 5 million, I would 100% quit. If in 2020 you were to tell me, Jose, you have $5 million, you want to quit your job, I would have said, yeah. I did it for a lot less. As long as you do something proactive and continue to make money. All right, guys, it's 12:12. Nanny has to go. Peace out. Take care. I'll see you guys. I'm gonna do a stream on Monday, right? I will do a stream on Monday. Just because why not? Peace out. Time to end this stream the awkward way. There we go. I found the button.